What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? NoZoupForYou here, and after what seems like a week or two of off-topic World of Warships related items, things that, kind of get our attention away from all the fun to be had in this game, we're back to what matters: new ships and ship reviews. And I've got a couple coming up this week that I'm actually pretty excited for, and we're going to start with the Tier 7 French Battleship Strasbourg. And this ship, I mean, you can see it right here, very much looks like a Dunkerque, but a Dunkerque at Tier 7. It does handle a little differently, though, and there are some things that are very, very enjoyable about it. So first, we're going to go into the stats of this ship. We're going to take a look at the specs. And after that, we're going to go into the actual pros and cons of this ship. If you haven't already, though, be sure to go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Like this video if you so desire, and make sure to turn those notifications on. That way you won't miss any upcoming ships that I review or preview, because Wargaming is putting a lot out, a lot of juicy stuff coming down the pipeline, and I really don't want you to miss out on that information. Alright, now moving on to the important stuff. Survivability. You have 52,600 hit points. It's about normal for a Tier 7 battleship. It's comfortable. Torpedo protection damage reduction is 25%. Again, not too shabby there. I mean, I'd say these are pretty average, run-of-the-mill. There's not much special about the Strasbourg's armor and its hit points. I mean, if you're looking for something Musashi-like, you're not going to find it here. And she does take a beating depending on the matchmaking, so keep that in mind. She's very much like the Dunkerque in many ways, although I will say she can take a little bit more of a beating, but just think Dunkerque, but one tier up. Where things start to get a little different, though, is the artillery. First, your main battery, you have that very unique and odd French setup of 2 quadruple turrets, rocking 330mm shells. Your reload time on these is going to be 25 seconds, which it seems a little slow at times. I wouldn't mind shaving a second or two off, but it is what it is. It's not horrible. Thing to keep in mind right here, your chance of causing fire is 35%, and of course I'm using Demo Expert on this just because I got in the habit with Dunkerque. I really liked setting fires with the Dunkerque and switching things between HE and AP. And I find that works fairly well with this ship. Your maximum HE shell damage is going to be 4,800. Your maximum AP shell damage is going to be 9,700. Maximum range on these is 19.1 kilometers. That's without extending your range. 19.1 kilometers is fairly comfortable, especially in your own tier. I wouldn't worry about trying to extend your range, but again, that comes down to personal preference. AP shells fly at 870 meters a second, HE 885 meters a second. So your shell velocity isn't that bad for a battleship. I mean, there's much slower out there, and there's really not much that's faster. 870, 885 is right in that nice, juicy, average wheelhouse that gets your shells there quick enough that you really don't have to adjust. So I'm fine with that. This is not a secondary ship, so don't think specking out your secondaries is going to get them to 11 kilometers or something strange like that. It's just not. Your AA defense, I would just say it's there. I mean, it's not too special. It'll shoot a plane down here and there, but I wouldn't overly rely on it. I took spotting aircraft in this round, though you might consider using fighter aircraft if you are worried about aircraft carriers, but I tend not to be. I really don't think they're that big of a threat, and especially since you're at Tier 7, you're not going to see Tier 10 aircraft carriers. You're going to see Tier 8 aircraft carriers, and you're more than capable of surviving against a Tier 8 aircraft carrier, so AA is not something I'd worry about. Maneuverability is one of the nice and bright spots in this ship, in my opinion. Maximum speed's 31 knots with Sierra Mikes. Your turning radius, though, is 730 meters with a rudder shift time of 14 seconds. I feel like the ship handles very well for a battleship, especially a large battleship. Similar to the Dunkerque, once again, I feel that, you know, the ship gets you where you need to go fast, and you can maneuver if you need to. So I think that is definitely a plus to this ship. Concealment, this is the last thing we're going to cover, of course. Detectability range by sea is 14.8 kilometers. That, in my opinion, is a very, very weak spot, especially for a Tier 7 battleship. I don't like 14.8 kilometers in this thing. I just don't. I feel that it's a little disappointing having that type of detectability in a Tier 7 battleship when you've got ships like the Missouri that hit harder or stronger at Tier 9 that have 13.4 kilometers. But, you know, this is a thing that the French battleships have. They don't have the best visibility whatsoever or detectability, so I guess this is just following suit. So not much we can do about that at this point, since once again these ships are ready to go. This is a review, not a preview. These ships are finalized and they are coming soon, so what you see at this point is what we're gonna get. So I would have liked better detectability or concealment, but there's not much we can do about that. So now we're going to go into my favorite part, the overall pros and cons and feels of this ship. The what's in it for you and whether or not you should like it or not, which of course I'm not going to tell you if you should like it or not. I'm not going to tell you if you should get it or not. I just provide you with the facts so you can make an informed decision. You watch my video, you go to other videos, and based upon what you see, you're either going to think the ship fits your play style and you're going to have fun in it, or you're going to say, you know what, this ship is a hard pass. That's pretty much what it is. Now, I do want to let you know that the Strasbourg is going to be a campaign reward ship. So you're not going to have to pay doubloons for it, though I imagine, you know, knowing wargaming and how things are, if you do want it, there's probably a way you can get it outside of that campaign. Maybe not. And the In Pursuit of Strasbourg campaign is coming in patch 9.12 or 0.9.12, so that's around the corner. Alright, moving into the pros and cons of this ship. You know, I actually enjoy this ship. I never disliked the Dunkerque. I felt that Dunkerque was a very good kiting ship. The Dunkerque had some very nice merits to it, though I know it's not the most popular because it is a very squishy battleship. It can be very hard to play for those who aren't as well versed in battleships. Dunkerque, in my opinion, was very good working with another Dunkerque. You have one firing HE, you have one firing AP, and you just alternate and pound another ship into submission. The Strasbourg is kind of the same, though if you don't have someone to team up with, you're probably going to be switching between your AP and HE yourself. Now, I found myself mostly bottom tiered. The good thing about the Tier 7 Strasbourg is even though you are bottom tiered, at Tier 7, I felt I could compete with Tier 9s. I didn't feel that I was so extremely outgunned that my playing experience was miserable in this ship, and a lot of that is because you have very good HE. I found that using HE against other enemy battleships lit a lot of fires, put a lot of Tier 9s on the defensive so that some of them even turned out and tried running. And if you can do that as a Tier 7, you're doing something right, or at least the ship has something done right. Now, I did switch back and forth. AP works very well against other ships. AP works very well against cruisers. I don't see too much wrong with the AP. Only in certain circumstances is it hard to do damage with AP against higher tier ships, higher tier cruisers like the Alaska. But overall, you have pretty good offensive capabilities. So I think for most players, they're going to like the aspects of this ship. And again, great maneuverability as well. I feel the maneuverability is there. You can get into situations quickly. You can get out of them quickly as well. You can escape if you need to. And of course, just like the Dunkerque, you can kite and sling that HE. So there's a lot to like about this ship. Now, some of the things I don't like about this ship, yes, it is a little bit squishy. That is a definite downside. You do take a lot of damage. I do feel you catch fire a little easier. The other thing is you are a Tier 7 ship, and you are going to see a lot of Tier 9 ships. So if you don't like being bottom tier and getting bumped up against some of the best ships in the game at Tier 9, then that's something to think about as well. But bear in mind, this ship can hold its own. The other big con about this ship, the thing I really don't like, and I mentioned it already, I don't like that almost 15-kilometer concealment with everything thrown on there that you can. I'm just not a fan of it. I would have liked to have seen it sub 14, but it is what it is. And because of that, you know, you are probably going to play this more as a kiting ship. Now, one aspect about this ship that I have not mentioned, and one thing that you do need to know, this ship has the Expert Reloader. I think that's what it's called. I can't remember. It's got what a Jean Bart and other similar battleships has. So you can fire off 2 rounds for what it would normally take you to fire 1 round, and that lasts for close to a minute. Now, do I think this is worth it? Do I think this is a good addition to the ship and adds, you know, value? Is it a value add? Honestly, I don't think so. I'm not that big a fan of it. I don't think it provides you enough extra firing capability and damage to really make a difference. I mean, in certain circumstances, yes, maybe, but you're still going to be waiting close to 15 seconds for your shells to reload, which, if you're going up against a cruiser, they're probably going to be gone by that point or have turned out, and if not, well, they deserve to be sunk. Against battleships, yeah, I guess theoretically you could start some fires and switch to AP, or start some fires and start some more fires, but again, I just really don't think that that's a huge selling point for me on this ship. And it's almost as if that was put in to be the selling point. However, even without that, the Strasbourg, in my opinion, is a pretty decent and fun Tier 7. Not going to say it's up to Scharnhorst levels, but it's not a bad ship at all. It is fun. I think a good player with a steady hand is going to be able to do really good things in this ship, even when bottom tiered. If you did not like the Dunkerque, you're probably not going to like this ship. If you struggled in it, you're probably going to struggle in this ship. If you don't like to kite, you're probably going to struggle in this ship. However, if you can kite effectively, you're probably going to like this ship a lot. So, there you have it. There's a review of the Tier 7 French Battleship Strasbourg. Interested to hear what you think about it as well, so leave some comments in the comments section, and I will catch you all later. Thank you all for everything. Zoop out.